G'day everybody, Phil Monaghan here, Jaquima A Freno Classical Horsemanship. I'm also a level 2 cowboy dressage clinician. I just want to talk to you today about snaffle bits, specifically a snaffle bit being used on a one-eared headstall. It's something we see a little bit. It's fairly common nowadays for people to do this. I just want to explain to you why I won't do that. So I've got George here to help me. Come over here, Georgie. I actually don't own or don't have a one-eared headstall with a snaffle bit on it set up. I had to set this up for the purposes of the demonstration today. Georgie doesn't get used in a snaffle bit. Probably had a snaffle bit in his mouth about 4 times 10 years ago for the purposes of doing some modern dressage. Didn't sort of take to it too much, but that's alright. Now why I won't use a snaffle bit with a one-eared headstall, I want you to pay attention to the cheek strap here. When I pick up on my reins, you'll notice that cheek strap, it's pretty obvious. I'll turn his head for you so you can see better. Pretty obvious. That cheek strap comes loose. So for some reason I needed to pick up. There is a chance that that coming loose can slip over my horse's ear pretty easily. Now there's some people that might say, oh well, you need to tighten it up. There's a few schools of thought now on where we adjust our snaffle bits. Some are two wrinkle, 1 wrinkle, no wrinkle. Some people have them hanging halfway down their mouth. I like to have my bit so there's no wrinkles in the horse's mouth, just hanging with that little bit of space between the corners of the mouth and the bit, so that it gives me another chance, another signal to pick up. I don't like it flopping too loose. I think it can get in the road that way, and it's harder for them to pick up on it, I believe. But I like to have it with just that little bit of space there, just that little bit, so when I pick up there's that little bit of signal before it comes into the corners of the mouth. But again, the point of today, when I pick up, you can see that comes loose. Now I have had, when I was a young fella, you'd never see the old guys drop the bit, Georgie. You'd never see the experienced people riding in a snaffle bit with a one ear. And I never knew why. And there at one stage I had a nice little Delmingo mare, and I was riding her, and I put her in a one-eared headstall with a snaffle bit, and she had a bit of a habit of shaking her head, and she shook that headstall straight off over her ears. Now luckily I was able to hold on to the reins and hold the bit in the horse's mouth, and kept myself safe. But that's exactly why I won't use a one ear. And I have heard of it happen to many other people, and not necessarily from a horse just shaking its head, but just simply by picking up in the bit. It can lift up those cheek pieces and cause the earpiece to fall over. Got a set up here with a macate on it. Now this is a snaffle bit again. This snaffle bit this time has got the brow band and the throat latch. Okay. So I've got a chin strap. Oh, get you. Try it down the road, Georgie. You see now I've got that brow band properly adjusted. Put on my throat latch here. Okay. And again, even though I've got that brow band and that throat latch, if I pick up on 2 reins, them chin straps do come loose. You can see that they do come loose here. But the brow band and the throat latch are keeping it in place. So even though these cheek straps come a bit loose, the chin strap here, the throat latch, the throat latch and the brow band keep it all in place. Now we'll quickly look at the difference. Come here, mate. Could be right. Crop. Good lad. With a proper bridle or a shank. Some people call them shanks, bridles, you know. Western bit. Bit I'm going to demonstrate in today is a frogmouth on Santa Barbara cheeks. It's just a Performax, a Les Vote one. I actually like it. I get some nice stuff out of it. Now the first thing we want to understand is we don't ride our horses in a rig like this, straight up in the bridle, until they're fairly broke. You know, my horses go through the Jaquima, then the Hackamore, then the two rein, and then into the bridle. So by the time I get to riding them in a bridle, they're pretty broke, firstly. Okay, so I'm not too worried about them pulling that headstall off or anything like that. Okay, the other thing to look at, we'll get Georgie to drop his head down a little bit. Come on, mate. Good. Pick up this bit for me. He actually picks these up better than a snaffle, funnily enough. A signal bit, which is what this falls into the category of a signal bit, slightly different to a leverage bit, even though a signal bit in a truest sense has got leverage. We try not to use that leverage, but you know, a signal bit is still a leverage bit. The difference is though, this bit's got a lot of looseness in the cheeks. It's got rein chains and a romal, all designed to give signal. You know, these buttons on the side of the romal are designed to come and touch the side of my horse's neck. They're also designed to give weight to my romal, so when I pick up on my romal or my reins, my horse feels that. The rein chains, again, they'll give weight, and they actually help the bit hang in a specific position in the horse's mouth. You know, you can change the way a bit hangs simply by adjusting the length or the weight of your rein chains. Now the big difference here and what we want to look at today is when I pick up on these reins, on any shank bit, whether it be a leverage bit, okay, I'll just adjust this down so you can see, a leverage bit or a signal bit, we actually get a tightening here of the chin straps, not a loosening. That's because of the ratios in the bit, the pulls below the bit, not on the bar. Okay. Now the thing to understand, we were talking about that signal earlier, we've got the romal, the chains, we've got the looseness in that bit, the signal here, the chin strap taking up, that slight pull downwards on the cheek straps, which actually gives a little bit of pressure over the pole. So there's a lot of signal going on in that configuration in a bridle. Alright, so that's why I won't use a snaffle bit with a one-head bridle, and why they're more suited to a proper bridle or a leverage bit or a shank bit of some description, whether it be shank, leverage or signal. Thank you.